What would it look like if you could see my chronic pain? Pain is invisible, but today I'm making it visible. Just by looking at me, you wouldn't have a clue I deal with debilitating chronic pain, chronic illnesses, and disabilities that affect my everyday life. I enjoy doing yoga, exercise, looking after myself as much as possible, eating healthy, and I look like anybody else you would see out on the street. I can stand for very short periods of time, which to some people is very confusing. And just like anybody, I love to spend time with family and friends. Here I am, showing my body from all angles. This is how the world sees me. Other than the fact I'm on crutches, I look like every other girl, just a normal human. However, you wouldn't have a clue about the debilitating chronic illnesses I live with. To begin with, I'm just taking off my t-shirt. It's totally fine. I have a sports bra underneath. I'm taking my Illamasqua blusher to highlight all the pains that I live with. To start with, I'm highlighting my jaw. I have a lot of pain when I eat, when I chew. It often dislocates. If I rest my head on the pillow at night, it is painful. The pain radiates underneath my jaw too, as it's all connected. It's hard to swallow and eat. My husband has to cut up my foods into small pieces, and we have to make sure my foods are pretty soft so that it's manageable for me to eat and to avoid as many dislocations as possible. Next, I'm moving up to my forehead, to my temples, where I get a lot of headaches and often migraines. It leads to a lot of nausea and sometimes vomiting. I also have pains around my cheeks and on the bridge of my nose. This is where I get inflammation and pain from my lupus butterfly rash. Can get very itchy and very sore. It's a really big problem for me on my face. I'm working on it all the time, but it always comes back. Moving on to my throat. Sometimes I have speech problems and speech arrest. I used to be able to sing, but not anymore because now I have breathing issues due to my throat. It hurts when I swallow, and oftentimes I have to take breaks from talking. It radiates down to my collarbone, and it can oftentimes feel like somebody is pinching me there. Next, I'm moving on to the armpit/shoulder area. I'm not really sure what this is called, but I get a lot of pains there. Again, it feels like somebody is pinching me. I can often get twitching there as well. That can be really frustrating. Moving on to my heart. My heart is where my POTS is most affected. My heart has a difficult time pumping blood around my body, which often leads me to fainting and feeling sick quite a lot. I also get a lot of heart palpitations and heartburn. It is just a really, really painful area for me, which is why I'm making it darker. Next, I'm moving on to my shoulders. My shoulders are very problematic, as that's where I get a lot of dislocations. It can sublux a lot, and as you can imagine, if it dislocates or subluxes, I'm going to get a lot of muscle pain. I also get a lot of muscle spasms there, and oftentimes they can even paralyze. The nerves get trapped there. My shoulders are just very, very problematic and very painful for me. Now to the back of my shoulder blades. My shoulder blades are completely unstable. As you can see, they sort of wing out. It's not ideal. They can cause me a lot of pain. They can pop out quite a lot because of that winging out motion. I see it a lot when I take my yoga photos, and it's just really painful. As you can see, I'm now moving on to the opposite side. I have very, very similar pains on both sides. Sometimes one side hurts more than the other, but in general, I have very, very similar pains, especially as I walk on crutches. I can oftentimes get pains in the same spot. It's really hard for me to sit up, so oftentimes that can really cause problems, muscle spasms, muscle pains, inflammation. The back of my shoulder blades again pops out quite a lot. Here, I think this is called the traps. That gets very sore from standing up. From sitting up, I try to lay back as much as possible to avoid that area. Oftentimes I try to avoid crossback bras, which is the opposite to what I'm doing here. My neck hurts a lot. I got tested for cranial instability, which luckily I don't have, but we thought I might have it because of the amount of pain I get on the back of my neck and my thoracic spine area. I need to get upright MRIs every few years to make sure I don't develop cranial instability from EDS. Moving on to the sides of my back, here is where I get sciatica. Sciatica is always something I'm dealing with. It is a nerve problem. I don't know what I can do to get rid of it, but it is always there and it is so painful, and I'm actually going to get looked at soon to see why it never goes away. Moving along to my lower back, here I get a lot of pains because of urinary problems. I pass a lot of urine because of too much protein due to lupus. Now back to the front, I have a lot of rib pain. My ribs, especially on the left side, subluxe quite a lot. I was in a car accident, and since then they've never really been the same. That particular side is really, really bad, as I'm trying to show. The right side of my ribs also hurts. They're less problematic than my left side. However, when I breathe, I can feel the lactic acid in there sometimes. Stomach pains are a huge problem. I have a lot of allergies. I've got mast cell activation syndrome, and so many foods cause me problems. My lower abs really hurt as well. I have a lot of digestive problems, and as well when I sit up it can be really painful for me. Now moving on to my arms, my muscles are always painful. It's really hard to show it, but it always feels tight, I guess, like they're being pinched all the time. They can have a lot of burning sensations. My elbows, they're really sore, they click, they pop. I have arthritic symptoms there. The inside of my elbow is so problematic. I can barely have somebody even stroke me without me wanting to cry in that area. My wrists as well. Feels like I've got tendonitis there. I'm not really sure, but it's so painful for me. I get carpal tunnel there. I can't really hold my phone for too long. I can't really write because it's just always flaring up. Then moving along to my forearms, that's always burning, twitching. Then we've got my fingers. As you can see, they're really skinny and really long. They have a tendency to pop out and click and pop, especially my thumb. That hurts the most of all my fingers. Moving on to the other side, back onto the top of my arms. Again, lots of soreness, burning, twitching, spasms. My triceps, they can sometimes feel like they're burning as well. I get that feeling of like bugs crawling under my skin sometimes there. It's really horrible. When it starts, it can go on for hours. Again, my elbows, they click, they pop, they come out, they make horrible sounds, and it's just very, very painful for me. Back onto the forearm of my right side. As I'm right-handed, this can always be inflamed, very sore. My inner elbow on my right side is very, very, very painful, just like the other side. I can cry. My wrist as well, as you can imagine, being right-handed, the right side is a lot more painful, especially on that inner wrist part. It can really twitch a lot. Again, my fingers, I've got aerodactyly due to EDS. They pop out, they click, all sorts. That's the upper half. Now moving on to my lower body. My knees, oh my knees. Where do I begin with my knees? They're sore, they're inflamed, they're swollen, they're arthritic. They have fluid in them sometimes. They have gotten better with medication, but they pop out, they dislocate, they sublux. I've been to hospital multiple times to get them put back into place, x-rays to get them manipulated. Obviously it means the back of my knees can be very sore as well. That, just like my inner elbow, is very sore to touch. If somebody touches me there, I'll probably cry. It hurts so much, and I'm trying to highlight that as much as possible. The knee joint is a really big one, so you can see I'm highlighting the inside of my knees as well. They can balloon up sometimes. It's just very, very painful. Again, the other side, the left knee, is just as bad. Honestly, I can't even say one knee is worse than the other. They're both just really bad. They both sublux, dislocate multiple times a day. This is the one joint where I would say they dislocate, sublux multiple times an hour. I'm always popping them, clicking them, trying to get back into place. It is just very painful, very sore. I've been told I might need to have surgery in the future, but for now I'm trying to do whatever I can to keep them as healthy as possible. Obviously, when they dislocate and sublux, it pulls on the nerves, especially on the backs of my knees. It can feel like it's tight, like it's pulling, like something's going to ping. It is very, very painful on the both sides of the back of my knees. The knees are connected to the quads, so then the quads become affected. It feels like I've done hundreds of squats in my day, when in reality I try and rest as much as possible, but my quads are always burning, always inflamed, so sore. As well on the inner thigh, that can often feel like it's pulling, again probably because of my knee dislocations, where it pinches on my nerves and then things just come out of place and it affects other areas. Again, back of my hamstring, you can even see I'm like struggling to twist here because I have so much pain on the hamstrings. Again, when my knees sublux and dislocate, it really pulls on the back there. I have a lot of nerve damage there, muscle pain, my butt hurts. Again, that's from sciatica. Sciatica can run all the way down the back and all the way down your leg to your foot. My butt really hurts, that I have troubles sitting. I really need soft things to sit on. It's hard to see it on my dark shorts, but it's from my back all the way down my butt and the back of my legs. The sciatica runs down the back of my calf as well. I can always feel the nerve pain, sort of like giving me this strange sort of twitching feeling. And because my feet are unstable, my knees are unstable, my calves have to do a lot of work, and therefore they're always sore, they're always inflamed. Here I'm showing my ankles. My ankles always hurt. I had a trampoline accident when I was younger there, and I still feel it to this day. And because of that, it runs up my shins. I'm always dealing with shin splints. People get that when they run too much. I have it on a daily basis. Then we go to my feet. I have very flat feet. As we were filming, my knee popped out, so you can see I'm trying to pop it back in. Now back to my legs. Again, on the side of my legs and my hamstring, you can see how much pain I'm in there, trying to twist to show you. It always feels like it's pinching. It really hurts. I'm in a lot of pain, and yeah, I guess my face just shows it. The sides of my legs, my calves, is just always burning, inflamed. It hurts so much. See, I'm trying to show my butt again. That side from the sciatica, very, very sore, runs from my back all the way down to the bottom of my butt. It can be very, very painful to sit, as I mentioned. This chair is not doing much for me right now in helping my pain, but I didn't want to get my wheelchair dirty. So yeah, again, down the back of the calf. The calf is very sore due to the fact that my ankles are unstable. It has to carry my weight. I would say both left and right calf are equally as painful. My legs are problematic. My ankles everywhere is just very unstable on the bottom half there. My ankles have a hard time to hold my weight up, so I'm trying to make it darker to show that. So therefore it affects my calves. Again, shin splints on that side, equally as painful on both sides. Again, my legs are just very, very painful. That's why I need crutches. I just have a hard time with my legs in general. It is just painful. Back to my feet. My feet are sore because they are very flat and I feel like they just don't carry my weight very well. So this is me all covered in paint. This is what you would see if you could see my chronic pain. As I'm editing this, I realised I completely forgot to talk about my hip pain that hurts when I sit for long periods of time, and also my groin pain, which was one of the very first symptoms that presented in me. It hurts especially from my knee dislocations. And I figured some of you might be interested in what the blusher looks like after. So I've cleaned it up, and as you can see, it looks like brand new. Hey! I should have really shown you what it looked like after I'd painted myself, but yeah, good as new. Now I look very different. Imagine if all of us with chronic debilitating conditions walked around with our pain shown like this. Other people would be a lot more kinder, a lot more compassionate, and a lot more empathetic towards us. This was very difficult to film, and I don't particularly enjoy showing my body this way. However, I thought it was a really important topic to talk about. Chronic illness and chronic pain is very real. Just because you can't see something doesn't mean it isn't there. A lot of people live with conditions such as mine and live with debilitating chronic pain daily. So thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. So grateful for you, and I will see you in the next video. Mwah.